In 1967, a young woman stepped off a Greyhound bus in Nashville with just $20 in her pocket and a stack of songs that no one wanted. Executives laughed at her high-pitched voice, mocked her big blonde hair, and told her she'd never succeed in country music. But that woman, born in a small cabin in the Smoky Mountains, would go on to create a legacy worth over $650 million, write more than 3,000 songs, and become one of the most beloved figures in American culture. She would give the world classics like Jolene, I Will Always Love You, and 9 to 5. Behind the rhinestones, wigs, and famous smile, however, lay a story of heartbreak, struggle, and resilience. This is the story of how she rose from extreme poverty to global stardom, and the personal costs of that triumph. Her journey is a testament to determination and courage. Born into hardship, life in a one-room cabin. Dolly Parton was born on January 19, 1946, in a cramped, one-room cabin in Locust Ridge, Tennessee, deep in the Great Smoky Mountains. She was the fourth of 12 children in a family for whom poverty was relentless. Her father, Robert Lee Parton, worked long hours as a sharecropper and construction laborer, his hands often raw and bleeding from tobacco fields. Her mother, Avie Lee Parton, sang to her children even when there was no food on the table, filling empty stomachs with song instead of sustenance. The cabin lacked electricity, running water, and insulation against brutal winters. 12 children shared narrow beds under patched quilts, waking in freezing temperatures. Life in the mountains was a daily struggle, with poverty not just physical, but humiliating. These harsh early years planted the seeds of resilience that would later fuel Dolly's remarkable rise. The pain of feeling different at school. For Dolly, growing up in poverty meant enduring relentless social stigma. At school, she was the girl in homemade dresses sewn from rags, shoes worn thin enough for her toes to poke through. Classmates whispered, laughed, and excluded her from activities, leaving her isolated. Teachers offered little comfort, reinforcing the sense that she didn't belong. Each insult left a scar on her young heart, the humiliation of poverty carving a deep wound. Despite these challenges, music became her refuge, her currency and her escape. Singing and writing songs gave her a sense of worth that the world outside her home often denied. Though the sting of rejection lingered, it also sparked a determination to rise above circumstance, planting the first seeds of the resilience and creative genius that would define her career. Early talent. A voice that could not be contained music ran in Dolly's family. Her mother sang Appalachian ballads over a wood stove, and her grandfather, a Pentecostal preacher, filled Sunday services with gospel hymns. By age 7, Dolly was composing songs on scraps of paper, and by 10 she was performing on local radio in Knoxville. At 13, she made her Grand Ole Opry debut in a homemade dress, trembling yet determined. Though applause followed her, her family still struggled with poverty. Nights were often spent on cornbread and beans, and her father bore the weight of a family he could barely feed. Even so, Dolly vowed to leave the mountains. She loved her family deeply, but she knew the path to survival and success lay beyond the Smoky Mountains. Music was not just her talent, it was her ticket out. Porter Wagoner, opportunity with strings. Dolly's big break arrived when Porter Wagoner, a prominent country star with a syndicated TV show, offered her a co-host spot. The opportunity brought national exposure, a steady paycheck, and access to a wider audience. But there was a catch. Porter managed her career, controlled recording sessions, and dictated song choices. Dolly became his sidekick, expected to smile, sing, and remain compliant. Gratitude and naivety led her to trust him, but control soon felt like confinement. When she resisted, tensions escalated, turning their professional relationship into a struggle for autonomy. Though Porter's offer accelerated her career, it also highlighted the precarious balance between opportunity and artistic freedom. Dolly learned that fame could be empowering yet suffocating, a lesson that would shape her future decisions. Building an empire, Dollywood, and ownership. By the 1980s, Dolly's vision extended beyond music. She founded her own production company, controlling her image, recordings, and business decisions, an unusual move for a female artist of the time. She owned her masters, ensuring long-term financial security. In 1986, she opened Dollywood, a theme park near her childhood home. Critics scoffed, calling it vanity, but Dolly understood that it represented more than rides and attractions. It was a celebration of the mountains, the culture, and the people who shaped her. Dollywood became a major employer and a tourist destination, generating millions of visitors annually. Through it, she created a bridge between her humble beginnings and worldwide recognition. Dolly's business acumen proved that ownership, vision, and connection to one's roots could transform fame into enduring legacy. The hidden costs of fame. Despite her dazzling public persona, Dolly faced private struggles. The demands of recording, touring, and public appearances took a toll on her physical and mental health. She admitted to running herself into exhaustion, fearing that slowing down would threaten everything she had built. Fame brought visibility, but also scrutiny and loneliness. The wounds from childhood poverty, repeated rejections, and restrictive professional relationships lingered beneath the rhinestones and sequins. She learned that success did not erase past pain, it simply altered its form. Dolly's experience revealed that public triumph often coexists with private challenges, and that resilience requires continuous emotional and psychological labor. Her story underscores the human cost of building and maintaining extraordinary achievement. Love and loneliness. A private partnership at the heart of Dolly's personal life was a paradox. Immense fame paired with deep solitude. In 1966, she married Carl Thomas Dean, a quiet man who shunned the spotlight and preferred a simple life. Over 5 decades of marriage, he appeared publicly with her only a handful of times. Outsiders often questioned the nature of their relationship, but Dolly defended it as her anchor. Their connection relied on phone calls, brief visits, and unwavering support from a distance. Career ambitions demanded sacrifice, and Dolly accepted that. Her love life illustrates the complexity of balancing personal relationships with professional obligations. While she built a public empire, the private sacrifices were significant, emphasizing that the pursuit of greatness often comes with unseen emotional costs. Legacy of resilience and vision. Dolly Parton's story transcends fame and fortune. It is a narrative of survival, perseverance, and the transformative power of creativity. From a barefoot child in a one-room cabin to a global icon, she refused to allow circumstances or rejection to define her. She reclaimed her voice, asserted her independence, and built a business empire rooted in authenticity and connection. Her songs, theme park, and philanthropic efforts reflect not only talent but also wisdom, foresight, and compassion. Dolly's life demonstrates that adversity can become the foundation for extraordinary achievement, that resilience is often forged in private, and that true legacy lies not only in accolades, but in the courage to persist. Her journey inspires millions to believe in the possibility of turning hardship into triumph. A life that inspires. Dolly Parton's remarkable journey reminds us that success is rarely linear and never free of cost. She rose from grinding poverty, endured relentless rejection, and navigated the treacherous waters of fame with courage, talent, and determination. Behind every iconic song and glittering costume was a story of resilience, sacrifice, and unwavering vision. She transformed personal pain into art, turned obstacles into opportunities, and redefined what it means to thrive in the music industry. Dolly's legacy is not merely measured in wealth or awards, but in the inspiration she provides and the lives she touches. Her story proves that even the deepest wounds can give rise to strength, that rejection can fuel determination, and that a single dream pursued relentlessly can indeed change the world.